Hey, this is Kevin from the Krause Collection. This time I'm showing my British Eighth Army from World War II, and I have to say, this is was a really wonderful army to put together, and not so easy as I thought it would be. But really, this is kind of the story of the British Eighth Army. It's a force that I would say would be tested not only by the guns of the Afrika Korps, but by the very earth beneath their boots. And so in 1941, that's kind of where this army would start. The desert had really taken shape. It was fast, it was mobile, it was merciless. And the British Eighth Army was, I think, was born more from necessity. It was kind of a patchwork force formed to hold the line in Egypt, where the access kind of loomed dangerously close to the Suez Canal, which was kind of a lifeline for the British Empire. So command of this new army passed from one general to the next, which ended up with Montgomery, as we know, 1942. And really, he changed that Eighth Army into a force that was able to counter the legendary Desert Fox, General Erwin Rommel. But, the North African campaign was not a trench-bound or slow. It was fast-paced, highly mechanized, and often fought, I would say, over hundreds of miles of featureless terrain. And the Eighth Army relied on machines like the Crusader tank, often built for speed, but lacking firepower. It had the sturdy Matilda II with thick armor that could shrug off those German rounds, or at least early in the war. And in time, it became a more capable force with Valentines and Shermans and other tanks that really was there to counteract the Panzer divisions toe-to-toe. So this army basically isn't just tanks alone. It had artillery, so that was often the king of battle. That was really vital. So I have the 25-pounder guns. That was kind of the backbone of British firepower. Very reliable, accurate, and versatile. It was not just used for direct fire support, but more in barrages to kind of shape the entire engagement. And, I would say that the men themselves, the British Tommies, they fought under really brutal conditions. Burning sun, swirling sandstorms, night that froze the marrow. You've got uniforms that, adapted, although, to this desert. It was a lightweight khaki, short sleeve, kind of had that iconic sun helmet. But the equipment was only part of the survival. Morale mattered more. Amongst them were the Australians of the 9th Division, which I put in here as well. They were sent early at the Siege of Tobruk in 41. And, for over 240 days, they held themselves against the relentless Germans and Italian assaults. The German radio called them rats, and we know where that came, the rats of Tobruk. Anyway, really, really tough fighting. And so this army was built to kind of reflect that. And I'm really proud of it. This army advanced, I think, close to 1,500 miles across that desert battlefield, from the sands of Egypt to the mountains of Tunisia. And along the way, they learned, adapted, and evolved, turning a colonial force into a battle-hardened engine of liberation. I've read a lot about them, and I'm always at awe at how tough these Brits actually were. It has a very special place in British military history. It has a special place in my heart. And their battle honor, North Africa, represents, I think, more than just a victory. It represents endurance, unity, and transformation under fire. So here on the table before you is a tribute, not just to the history, but to the humanity. Every miniature that I have tells a story. A soldier from Liverpool crouched behind a Crusader tank, or an Australian sniper scanning the dunes, or a medic pulling a friend to safety under fire. So these models were painted in dust, sun-faded olive and khaki and steel. The vehicles marked with squadron signs and tactical flashes. The boots are dirty with desert sand. In a way, their legacy marches on through this recreation that I tried so well to represent. So this is a part of my collection, and this is the British Army in miniature, but never small in spirit. So I appreciate you watching and looking at what I've built. So now talking about what I've built, most of these figures are from Battle Honors. I've reorganized them and repainted them to play the O group. So you'll see that the Brits here are organized in that particular fashion with different support for each one of the companies. There's a company headquarters, there's artillery, there's my control or patrol markers. And I'm really looking forward to pitting these up against the Italians or the Germans or maybe a mixed force. These you'll see here are organized the same way. These are my Australians. And, the Australian uniform was very similar to the British, except in this particular thing to kind of model it differently. I have a lot of soldiers in there with the iconic Australian hat to kind of give you an idea that these are different than the British, but very, very similar. So, the models are really well done from Battle Honors, or not, from Flames of War. And, a lot of the tanks are there. I don't have any Churchills, but I do have some Valentines, and I've got some Daimlers and Umbers. I've got some Crusaders. I think they're Crusader 3s. I have some Grants and some Honeys that are in that force, as you'll see, and some Brens and some other things. I did not put any Churchills in here, and I didn't put any Shermans or Priests. I mean, I could add those, but in reality, I think that for what I'm trying to do, I think this is going to be just fine. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed my rendition and my creativity of the 8th Army.